My reclusive aunt, a famous novelist, promised to give her industry connections to whichever of her nieces and nephews understood the soul of a story. My cousins immediately began their campaigns. Aunt Genevieve was a literary giant, but treated our family like a focus group she was forced to endure. Every visit became a showcase of literary ambition. My cousin, Mark, started a podcast dissecting her novels with academic seriousness. My other cousin, Chloe, began writing a novel that was a thinly veiled imitation of Genevieve's signature style. "I'm bequeathing my legacy," she'd say, watching them with tired eyes, but only to the one who sees past the ink. I didn't want a legacy. I didn't even want to be a writer. I was a sound tech, and on weekends, I volunteered at a retirement home with my recording equipment, creating an audio archive of the residents' life stories. "Leo is still recording his little interviews," Genevieve would comment at holiday dinners, a little too loudly. "Found any epics in the geriatric ward?" "Not yet," I'd reply. But I did get a great story from a guy named Frank, who accidentally invented a new kind of Jell-O salad in the 60s. It involves pineapple, Spam, and a small kitchen fire. Her lips would twitch into a smile she tried to suppress. Riveting. While my cousins were building their author platforms, I was learning about D-Day from a man who was actually there. While they debated the merits of first-person narration, I was recording a woman's sweet story about a first date at a soda fountain in 1952. While they asked Genevieve for career advice, I was figuring out the best microphone placement to capture the fragile voice of a 98-year-old woman telling a story to a great-grandchild she'd never meet. "It's a waste of a good sound system," Mark told me once. "You could be producing a real podcast, something with a narrative arc." "These are real stories," I'd say. "They don't need an arc. They just need to be heard." Genevieve would try to bait me. "Leo, what did you think of the symbolism in my latest book?" "Haven't read it yet," I'd answer honestly. "I've been a little preoccupied with a story about a man who claimed he taught a parrot to sing opera. It's a lie, of course, but he tells it with such conviction." She couldn't make sense of me because I wasn't trying to sell her anything. I was just drawn to the quiet, forgotten stories, the ones that would never be published. The more my cousins postured, the more distant she became. The more I talked about my recordings, the more she'd lean in. "Why those stories?" she asked me once when we were alone. "Because they're going to disappear," I said. "Because a life without a witness feels like it never happened. That feels more important than a bestseller." The day she announced her choice, she gathered us in her study. It was lined with first editions of her own work. Mark came with a printout of his podcast's download numbers. Chloe brought the first 3 chapters of her homage novel. I came empty-handed. "Mark, you analyzed my stories," Genevieve said. "Chloe, you mimicked them. You both tried to use my voice to find your own." She looked at me. "Leo wasn't looking for a voice. He was looking for a story. Anyone's story." She pulled out a contract from a major publisher. It wasn't for a novel. It was for a book and podcast series titled The Last Story I'll Ever Tell, based on my recordings, with a foreword written by her. "A story's soul isn't in its structure, its prose, or its sales figures," she said, the room dead silent. "It's in the honest act of witnessing." Leo was the only one who understood that. My cousins stared, their carefully constructed ambitions crumbling. "But he's not even a writer," Chloe sputtered. Genevieve handed me a small, worn notebook. "These are the last stories of my parents. I recorded them before they passed. I never knew what to do with them." I opened the first page. It was her handwriting, transcribing a conversation with her father. 2 years later, I was back at the retirement home, setting up my gear to interview a new resident. "A famous writer used to do what you do," the woman told me, smiling. "Years ago, she'd just sit and listen. Her name was Genevieve." I looked at the simple, professional recording equipment I'd bought with my advance. Turns out, the best way to earn a legacy is not to chase one. It's to be a worthy keeper of someone else's.